Hey everyone, and welcome back to Cut the Bullshit. This is part 2 of our gaming episode. We did say last week that this would be a two-parter. So last week we covered kind of the hardware side of things, and this week we're going to cover like the game side and how the gaming industry is kind of where it started, where it's gone to. We're going to cover some new stuff as well, and obviously some old stuff. Go over like the top 100 games, the best-selling games, the most expensive games. So there's a lot to cover in this episode, and we think it's going to be quite an exciting and interesting episode, to be fair, because we're both gamers. Me, more of a gamer than him. But again, we both have our opinions on, the gaming industry because it's something that we've been involved in for some time. So, yeah. What do you think about this episode, dude?
Yeah, it's we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of, we've had a look through the sources that we're using for these games, facts about these games and stuff like that, and there's a lot that we both disagree with.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
And there's a couple of interesting things about the likes of Nintendo, for example. But it's interesting, and it's interesting how far games have come since the first game, which we'll explain in a bit shortly. Since sort of 1958, which is when the first sort of video game-ish was released or used. I think you sent me a video earlier on, said it was used to entertain guests. And it was literally just on an oscilloscope, which isn't even a games console. So, yeah, it's an interesting sort of, and from an oscilloscope in 1958 to the sort of graphics that we get now and so on. To now is technology, same as mobile phones. Technology just advanced so quickly. And it's mainly due to the amount of money put into it, and it's just an interesting look at original to now.
Well, we're talking about what, like 70 years since Tennis for Two in 1958, so we're pushing nearly 70 years, aren't we?
2008, 20, so yes, we're on 70 years.
So 70-year difference, and considering our age, I mean, we're half that. Do you know what I mean? Well, I am.
Speak for yourself. Anyway. I'm less than half of that, thank you.
Not by much.
Look off, you're older than me.
Yeah, but again, not by much. And I look younger than you too.
Well, that's fucking debatable, isn't it?
No, it's a fact. It's a fact. But like 70 years, it doesn't, when you think about how far it's come in that time, in just 70 years, it's not that long of a time. Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't seem like that long to go from Tennis for Two in 1958, and I'm not going to pronounce the word because I can't. I'm not even going to lie about that. To where we are now on like a Series X, a PS5 Pro, a Nintendo Switch 2. But
the PS5 Pro ain't much fucking better just because they've whacked a bit of a better thing in it. They've decided to charge an extra 300 quid.
But you know what I mean? Like, if you're taking the base PS5, the Series X and S, the Nintendo Switch 2, all those things, 70 years, it doesn't seem like that much when you think about where it started and where it is now and where it's going.
Yeah, well, again, I mean, look at another piece of hardware that's in pretty much everybody's life, a mobile phone.
Mm-hmm.
It was mid-90s. We were walking around with 3310s that bounced if you twatted them off something.
Fucking boomerang phones.
And that was the 90s, and maybe late 80s. I don't know. I've not looked into that, but look at what you're walking around with now. You're walking around with something in your pocket that's akin to a powerful PC.
Yeah, it's like a mini laptop, isn't it? In your pocket. Well, mine's not so mini, especially with the bloody case on the fucking thing. Add some weight onto it, my case, to tell you. But anyway, before we get into all that, like, we normally record our episodes in advance, and we're recording basically a couple of days before this episode's due to go out, so we've not really spoken. So, how have you been anyway? What's new? What's old apart from you?
You're older. How many times? You're older than me. No, same shit, different day, mate. To be honest, I was really, really, really hammered last week, which is why we've not been able to record.
Pisshead.
No, not that kind of hammered. Hammered in work.
He's pissed.
I'm not. Don't say that, because if some of my colleagues listen. No, I'm not. I think each night I was out on site from 9:30 until 5, 6 in the morning, working. Not sat around jacking it. It was
Slide drinking
to the point. Shut up. To the point where my back is knackered, my arms are knackered, and my hands are knackered. Everything's fucking knackered. But yeah, it's that's pretty much it. To be honest, I don't. I've done some work on my truck at the weekend. Other than that, not much. How about yourself? Any joy with anything in your life?
Not really. Same shit, different day again. Work. That's all I ever do. And then obviously having the little man and that. I did have a free weekend this weekend. Little man wasn't here, which was nice. And then come back and brought a storm with him on Sunday, as most kids do when they're not around their parents at the weekend. It's like, and you just enjoy the peace and quiet, and then he fucking turns up and you're like,
how
fuck's
much
sake,
sugar did they give him?
You know what? Believe it or not much, and he doesn't really have that much sugar. I mean, when you think about like kids like treats and that after tea or whatever, he doesn't go for sweets. He goes for fruit, and I feel like a lot of parents say that to kind of think, but like he generally does it. Like, even today, he went for grapes and strawberries after his tea. There's not many kids that I know out there who think, especially if they've got chocolate, biscuits, lollipops, sweets, all in the cupboard. They'd normally go for stuff like that, but no, he'd rather eat strawberries and fucking grapes.
Not like mine, who eats nothing but fucking shite and fucking turkey dinosaurs and chicken nuggets.
I mean, to be fair, he does like his chicken nuggets. I'm not even gonna lie. He had them twice last week.
I like turkey dinosaurs as well, but
big child, big child, really, aren't you? You are a big child.
Yeah, but there's what's the point in being a serious individual? Life's too fucking short for this shit, and it could be even fucking shorter if Putin decides to press his buttons.
He presses his buttons. He just misses the red one. He misses the one in the middle. He just presses the ones around it.
I don't understand why nobody's managed to fucking shoot the guy yet, but there we go.
I'm a scouser. Just give me a rifle. I'll be able to do it from here.
On the plus side, I'm nearly £9 down, so I'm quite happy with that.
What, your skin's already?
Yeah.
Well done. You're on the injections, aren't you?
Yes, I'm cheating. Yeah.
Cheating.
Yeah, that £9 is the amount of the weight of cash that I've spent on this injection.
Yeah. The £9 is the escape of money from his wallet. Now he opens his wallet and just bats fly out. That's all he does. Yeah, but anyway, right. So before we get into the main stuff, because obviously it is a gaming episode, I want to ask you, and I know the answer to this. I know at least one game that's going to be on this list. I want your top 5 games, and I guarantee I know 3 of these. I'm not going to say them, right? Because I know him, but I know at least 3 of them.
Ocarina of Time.
Know it.
Are we classing Destiny 1 and 2 as 2 separate games?
Yes.
Well, there you go. There's 2 of them. What else? What would I go back to playing? Crackdown 3 is probably in there.
Okay.
Possibly Super Mario 64 as well.
Okay, so yeah, I got
probably in about that order.
Yeah, I got 3 of them. Destiny 1 and 2 and Ocarina of Time. I knew that was coming. For me, and going. See, it's hard for me this, because I play a lot more games than him. But in no particular order, because I can't put these in order. Resident Evil 2, the original. The remake was fantastic, don't get me wrong, but I just preferred the original because I played it first and it was just phenomenal. Metal Gear Solid, again, the original one not the original, but the one on the PlayStation. The PlayStation 1. Witcher 3, because it's such a good game. Halo 2, because it was just class to play. And then my last one is probably Mario Kart, the original, because I do like Mario Kart.
Oh, well, hang on a minute. You can't have Mario Kart the original because they're up to Mario Kart 8 now. And it's the same as Mario Kart 1 was.
And I know, but like just Mario Kart as a game is it's just so much fun. And I've been able to play it now on the Switch, and then have like 4 people play it on the big TV. It just takes me back to 90s when I was a kid playing it on a really big box wide TV. It's just incredible. But an honorable mention is GTA San Andreas, because that game was phenomenal.
Well, and I think we'll get into that in the games lists that we'll bring you up shortly. Funnily enough, Mario Kart leads into something that I get, which I said to you before, I wanted to talk about something that does my fucking nut in.
I knew this was coming.
And we sort of spoke about it in the last episode with regards to GTA. And since the Xbox showcase yesterday, was it? At time of recording?
Yesterday, yeah.
Since the Xbox showcase, it's been made pretty again, because it's come up again with other things. I wish they'd stop fucking remastering games. It does my fucking head in. I played Halo 1 through Halo 5, right? I get my fucking Series X. They get Halo fucking Infinite, which I didn't like. Thought was crap. But we did get a new Halo game as well, beyond Halo Infinite, which was lovely, yeah. Halo 1 to 5 fucking remastered. What was it called? The Master Chief Collection. The
Master Chief Collection. I think that was out before Infinite, by the way.
Wasn't Infinite a launch for Series X?
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure Master Chief Collection was out before Infinite.
Oh, so on the One X?
Yeah.
Right, either way, it's still the most, apart from Infinite,
but you've got to be
game.
You've got to bear in mind though. So when they done, there is exceptions when we talk about remasters and remakes. Like for example, Resident Evil 2 remake. It was out for the Sony PlayStation. Now they remade that for the Series X and PlayStation, and it looks phenomenal. Like it was a completely different take on the game. It was a lot darker. It was a lot more grittier. It was a complete overhaul of the game. When we talk about the Halo Master Chief Collection, bear in mind Halo 1 and probably Halo 2 obviously were out for the original Xbox.
Halo 1 was. Halo 2 was 360.
Was it 360?
Yeah.
Halo 1 was out in November 2001.
Sorry to interrupt. The reason I know that Halo 2 was 360 is because little fucking young me, being an idiot, sent Microsoft a letter asking whether it was coming to the original Xbox, because some of us couldn't afford a 360. And they sent me a letter back, which funnily enough I dug out not long ago, saying some bullshit about fucking keeping up with hardware and all that kind of crap.
Fair enough. Either way, I mean, the original Halo, the original Halo had the biggest overhaul of the Master Chief Collection. To bring that to the series, or whether it was the One X, I think it was, with the ability to press the back button to see the old graphics and then the new graphics, it was just an incredible kind of thing. But then you look at what they did with The Last of Us. The Last of Us on the PlayStation was out for the PS3 originally. It's been remastered for the PS4, then the PS5, then the PS5 Pro. The same with GTA 5. It was out for the 360 13 years ago, and it's been remastered for the One X, the Series X. Why? You don't need that. You don't need that.
Well, that's
games out.
That's what I'm saying. You don't need remasters for newer consoles. With the exception of sort of when TVs started HDMI instead of SCART and composite, which, I mean, some flat screen TVs still have SCART and composite, but with the exception of when sort of, the more analog-y consoles went, so the 64 and so on, coming into the Xbox, I think the PlayStation 1 was composite, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Red, yellow, and white.
White, yeah.
The Xbox had their own proprietary sort of Xbox side, but that was also composite. And then they came out with some massive fuck off, because I've still got the cable. Massive, dirty grey cable that had about 7 different ends on it. And then I think you could HDMI mod an Xbox.
Yeah, you could. Eventually, yeah.
I don't know why they never did that in the first place. But then beyond that, you started getting into HDMI and so on. So the graphics changed a lot then, because obviously you could carry a lot more data through a HDMI cable than you could through a lot of other things. But you wouldn't, as I listed last week, and as you listed last week as well, we have the original console still.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So if I wanted to play Super Mario 64 on the Nintendo 64, all I've got to do is go on top of my cupboard and get the fucker. If I wanted to play whatever I wanted to play on the fucking 360, my 360 is set up in my back room on my 40-inch TV above my desk. I could play it. I'm not going to go out. Don't get me wrong. I have done in the past. I will say that I have done it in the past, pretty much with Ocarina of Time. I'm not going to go out and buy the same game 7 times because it's on 7 different fucking consoles. I don't see much of a difference in image quality for a lot of things. It's just something that I don't see. So I 4K versus fucking 1080p versus this, that, and the other. I don't see that. So for me, it is what it is. I get a lot of my stuff in the lower file sizes, so it's a lower fucking quality. But I don't see the difference. I don't see it's not shit to watch. It's not like you're watching a cam copy of a film. Some bloke walking into a fucking cinema with a little fucking secret camera in his top pocket, Yes, I can notice the difference when you're looking at the likes of a 64 versus even a Xbox 360. There is a difference. But that's hardware limitations. That's not digital sort of differences.
Yeah.
I mean, it comes down to when HDMI first come out. I remember your HDMI cables coming out, and when you were on SCART, what was the best SCART to have?
Oh God, I can't remember.
It was a gold-plated one.
Oh shit, yeah.
Because it was an analog signal that got carried through. So the better the conductor, the better the signal. So obviously, with gold being a really good conductor, the gold-plated SCART leads were better signals, therefore better quality pictures. When HDMI leads came out, people thought that applied to HDMI leads as well.
Yeah, because they were coming out gold, weren't they?
Because they were coming out gold, and they were 90 quid each or something. And the HDMI company, the manufacturers of the leads were like, "Oh, we could take advantage of people on this one." Because nobody knows that it's a fucking digital signal, so conduction doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was that kind of deal of, I don't see the difference, so why would I go out and go, well, what GTA 5 on the 360 versus GTA 5 on the Series X?
Yeah, I understand that, but like I say, if it's a remaster for a game that's been out for, I'm talking about like a number of years, like different consoles. So for example, in August, we've got Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, which was out on the PS2, I think, originally. Now that we've had 2 consoles since then, so that's a bit different. But like I say, if it's GTA 5 or The Last of Us or something like that, I won't bother with that, because what's the bloody point? And especially when, for example, like The Last of Us, I keep going back to that because I remember doing it. I completed that first time round when it first came out on the PS3. I don't see the point in spending what it would probably be about 160 quid now if I was to buy every single version of that game brand new. What's the point? Because I'm not getting anything new out of the game. Not really. A graphics upgrade, maybe a little bit of extra kind of content, but it's not worth the money that I'd spend buying 3 or 4 versions of the same game. But if it's something that's been out, like I said, on the original PlayStation years and years ago, then I'm quite happy to do that, because it's going to be a massive difference between what it was then to what it is now.
Yeah, well, that's providing they change the game enough in the remaster to warrant playing it again. Ocarina of Time, they re-released it for the 3DS. Obviously, that was a remaster because they remastered it for the 3DS. And like I said before, I have done it before, and Ocarina of Time was one of them. I got a 3DS, favorite game, so I bought it on the 3DS. But even on I think it was the GameCube, they did a Master Quest version, which had some different stuff in it. I never played it because I never had a GameCube until recently, and now the amount of money it cost for that game, I've just dropped 90 quid on fucking Destiny 2 to get released next month. Sorry, so I might get it in. I might get it in the future. I might not. I don't know. But they changed a couple of things in it. They changed a couple of things in the 3DS remaster, but not enough to sort of. If I didn't really want to buy it, I wouldn't have bought it. Do you know what I mean? It was one of them. But then, just before we carry on in this this fucking Xbox showcase, which all I've seen online is people saying it was fucking shite and it was pointless and all this, that, and the other. They also announced a new piece of hardware, didn't they? Well, no, sorry. I don't see it as a new piece of hardware. They announced something that they've sort of wanted to do, and we said this last time with the Nintendo staying in their own fucking lane with handhelds. They've announced the Xbox handheld.
Yeah, the ROG Ally, the ROG Xbox Ally, and the ROG Xbox Ally X, which is basically the handheld Series S and X versions. Now, obviously, we know Nintendo are the, well, I want to call them the masters of the handheld, but considering the absolute failure of Nintendo Switch 2, the kind of, I don't know where Nintendo are going to go from there, but obviously Sony's got their version for their handheld.
PlayStation Portal, is it?
Yeah. And that's been out a year or so now. And obviously that's doing really well. I don't know. I've not used it. I've not even seen one physically, so I couldn't tell you. It's got some interesting features on, like you can, for example, I know one of the features on it where if you leave a game in your console, a disc in the actual console, and if you leave it on standby, you can actually continue your game even if you're at a friend's house a couple of miles away.
So it's a cloud thing then?
Yeah, effectively. Now, because considering Xbox already has the software for that, because I could sit here on my phone right now while recording the podcast and play Diablo 4 if I wanted to. Do you know what I mean? So Xbox already has the software capability for it. They're just putting it in an actual handheld console.
No, they've not put fuck all in a handheld console. What they've done is they've taken an ROG Ally, which existed beforehand, and put a fucking Xbox button on it. Yeah, and that's pissed me off because there was talks about an Xbox handheld a while ago, and obviously this has been in development for a while because I'd imagine that they've been talking to ROG, the Republic of Gamers, to sort of to do something like this for a very long time, and I'd imagine that they've specified their own sort of hardware, if you like, to put in these ROGs. And obviously, as we said before we started, ROG aren't making Ally anymore. They're making Ally. They're making Ally Xbox. I don't know whether that's because the ROG Ally was failing beforehand and they needed a fucking a partnership with somebody who'd plow money into it. ROG make a lot of stuff. ROG make everything from headsets to keyboards to gaming phones, to laptops. I think ROG do laptops as well. I think they do PC towers as well. I mean, it would make sense for them too.
I think they do, yeah.
But the handheld stuff, I personally don't see the point.
I do and I don't. I mean, for example, everyone likes to play. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people like to play games. A lot of people like to play games on the move. If you've got a long car journey and you're not the one driving, do you know what I mean? It gives you something to do in the back of the car. Obviously, if you're going on holiday, and you've got a long flight, again, it gives you something to do on the flight. There are aspects to it, your daily commute to work. If you don't drive, you're one of those who've got to get, train or bus or whatever, then, you got some way of doing that. I mean, for example, me and my wife, we both follow sport, and we're both football fans, whereas obviously you're not. And we support different teams. So there are occasions when it won't happen this year because of where their team finished. But there are occasions where our teams clash, and I can't watch my match or she can't watch her match. Because obviously they're conflicting times. So if I say to her, right, you can watch your match, I can sit there on my, on the handheld and play that. I do it with my Switch now. If she's watching her crap on the TV, then I can sit there and play Pokemon on my Switch. Do you know what I mean? So there are aspects to having a handheld console if you can't get to your actual main console.
Yeah, but here's the question. From what I've seen, would you pay the price that the ROG Ally is going to cost?
No.
Because from what I've seen, the base Ally, which has I shit all about processors, to be honest. But the base Ally is an AMD Ryzen Z2A processor, and the X is the better processor. Obviously, is the AI Z2 Extreme. The RAM is double in the X. The memory is double in the X. The display is exactly the same in both. There's a couple more connector sort of I/O ports in the X versus the base one.
But the X comes with an audio jack as well, whereas the Ally doesn't.
No, it's the other way around.
No, the X comes with the one.
The base, the 3.5. The base one comes with a 3.5 combo. No, they both come with the. Sorry, I've misread that. They both come with the 3.5 combo.
Oh yeah, they do.
That's where I've misread that. The way that they've done the table is a bit dodgy to the eye. Battery's bigger in the X. Obviously, it has to be because it's a more powerful console. And the weight is 45 grams more. I'd imagine that's come with the bigger battery.
The bigger
battery will be the main thing for that. So going off all of that, they both run on Windows 11 Home, which again makes sense with it being Microsoft. I think I saw sort of how do you call it? Guess prices.
Yeah, we've seen rough ideas, haven't we? We've seen between $600 and $900 is what I've seen.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Between 600 and sort of 600 and 700, I'd say, for the base one, and 8 and 9 for the X. What the fuck?
I'd rather go and buy a Switch 2, and I don't even want to buy that.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I can't. Have you seen the size of the fucking things as well?
Yeah, it's quite sizable.
I was watching a YouTube video that a guy got an original ROG Ally, a proper, I say a proper one. You know what I mean? Before Xbox fucking took over, and the ROG Ally when Xbox is done with it, and it's like Microsoft's fucking put it on steroids or some shit. It's fucking massive.
Yeah, but to be fair, I mean, on the original Xbox, you remember the original pad?
Oh yeah, the Duke.
Yeah, it was an absolute machine, that pad, mate. I mean, swear to God, that thing could knock people out from a distance.
So could the Nintendo 64 controller, and that was just the person that was playing it.
Well, yeah.
You needed 4 hands, or 3 hands. They had some. Do you know what? Right, so that guy who designed that controller, right? He had some fucking balls, but not as much balls as the guy that okayed the design. Because you've got to have some balls to go to your boss with that design and go, I think that'd look all right. And then your boss has got to have some balls to go, fuck yeah, and then get it fucking manufactured.
It was definitely like a kind of thing you're wearing. It was definitely like an eye catcher, and it worked. I mean, you learned
how to play the game with it. It was as simple as that.
Yeah,
which is fine.
You kind of You kind of just had to deal with it, really, didn't you?
But yeah, so these ROGs are supposed to be handheld.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that far away from the size of an Xbox 360, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, well, I mean, the PlayStation Portal's not exactly small.
Yeah, and I'd imagine a lot of that's down to the fucking hardware they've got to throw in it and the battery life. Because battery life's always, I mean, the Switch 2's battery life is wank because they've not changed the battery life. It's the same as the original Switch.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, handhelds is always going to have that problem, though. I mean, with the powerful games that you're running, it's always battery life is always going to be a problem.
Well, yeah, and that's one of my other issues is the games that they're going to put on it. You're not going to get the likes of AAA's on it. You're not going to get the full fucking experience of a AAA, maybe even a AA game on a handheld console because your battery will last about 5 minutes.
No, it'll last a lot longer than that. But it's the whole thing of, I mean, what you've got to be very careful of, in my opinion, is you've got to be able to probably, be able to maybe swap the battery. Do you know what I mean? But I don't think you're never really going to be able to.
We'll be going back to AA's and shit.
No, I'm not talking about that. But like, at least make it, give us the ability to change it. If you have it for a year, it's like having a phone. You get a phone and then you charge it for 12 hours without using it or whatever when you first buy it. And then over time, because you start using it more and more, you start using more features and, you're scrolling through TikTok for 12 hours a day or whatever it is you're doing, the battery life diminishes. And then instead, everyone does it. And if you sit here in the comments, tell me if you've done this with a mobile phone. I guarantee you all have. But when you buy a new phone, you always say, I'm going to let it die all the time. And then I'm not going to charge it until it dies or until it's like 10%. He's sitting there laughing because he's done this, by the way.
Yeah.
And then after a couple of months, you start charging it when it's got 50% because you know full well that it's not going to last.
You go to bed and it's got 80% and you put it on charge and you go to sleep for fucking 7 hours. Yeah.
And you end up fucking the battery. It's just one of those things. So, and it's going to be the case in this handheld. The ROG Allies. If they want people to use them as much as they want them with this whole tagline of play anywhere, they've got to give it a feature where they can't make it impossible to get the battery changed.
Yeah, so as you said, with mobile phones is a big thing, and it goes into even further than that. It goes into white goods. It goes into fucking the microphone we're using. It goes into the headphones that we use. It goes into the fucking laptop. Every single piece of technology or something that cars, fucking everything, repairability.
Mm-hmm.
And it was only up until recently that someone somewhere, I can't remember where, again, we've not looked into it because I didn't think it had come up, but someone somewhere made the point of making it law or something around law to make things repairable.
Mm-hmm.
Like you say, mobile phones are a big one. I watch a couple of people on YouTube that tear phones down or tear devices down. I shared a video of the Switch 2 with you for the same thing. He tore it down, and it was as if a Nintendo had fucking welded the battery in.
Yeah.
And then you take apart some devices, phones being the main one. So Jerry Rig Everything is one of the channels that I watch, and he tears phones down. And they put pull tabs on the batteries, kind of like them 3M command strip things, where you pull it, it makes a funky noise as you pull it. It's really fucking satisfying. And the battery just falls out like it's supposed to, because the battery is probably, apart from the screen and the back glass, I'd say the battery is probably one of the most replaced or requires replacement parts of a mobile phone.
Because it's in constant use.
Yeah, and to put it in sort of in a permanent adhesive to mount it to the phone is just fucking wrong, because then somebody like myself or yourself, we could take our phones apart. Yeah, we could probably fucking repair them. But if we bend that battery, try to take it out, and the same with the Switch, the cost of the console, you're going to want to replace the battery if it goes faulty. You're not going to want to buy another one.
Nope. But that's why they do it.
But they shouldn't. Again, it's
No,
the same.
they
It's the
shouldn't.
same as with everything else. They shouldn't be allowed to. You got what? How long's a mobile phone contract these days? Anywhere from 3 years.
I think it's 2 to 3 years,
2
depending.
to 3 years.
Because phones are like, I think mine was the S23 Ultra, and it was like, it was just over $1,000.
Yeah. So,
Do you know what I mean? So it's just a joke.
If you're getting a fucking mobile phone and it's lasting you 3 years, or you want to, in the end, so I think they offer 7 or 8 years of security updates on phones these days.
Mm-hmm.
But your contract's 3 years. So what are you going to do after your contract's ended? You're probably going to go and get a new phone, aren't you?
Probably.
But I know several people that don't do that, my father being one of them. Not because he's a Luddite or anything, not because he's not bothered about new tech around. He just doesn't see the point because he doesn't use a phone like we do.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to repair it.
It's got me personally. It's got a very niche kind of audience. Do you know what I mean? If you really want one, you're gonna get one. It's as simple as that. But I don't think it's gonna get the sales that they are anticipating. To be fair, because like I say, the software that they're spitting, we've already got. I can do it on my phone. I could sit here on my phone and play Borderlands if I wanted to. Do you know what I mean? I just need the controller, which I've got. I need a little fucking jerry rig thing to put me pads on my phone in, and I can sit there and play it. And considering, like I said, I've got the S23 Ultra, it's one of the best screens anyway. I've got a really good Wi-Fi connection at home, so if I really wanted to, I could do the exact same thing that the ROG's gonna do. Well, not the exact same thing, but I could do what I wanted to do on my phone.
Yeah, but I will say that the ROG will probably do it better because of the spec.
Oh yeah,
it's not. I'm not.
I'm not doubting that.
It's. I just don't see the sort of the spending that kind of money on something that's an occasional use fucking thing. It doesn't make any sense, even for me who doesn't game much because he's not at home to do it. Basically, I would not get one. I mean, I've got a gaming laptop, but I very rarely do that because I'm busy. But even so,
drinking.
Shut up. Even I wish. Even so, I wouldn't see why that would become something that sells at the same rate as the fucking DS or the 3DS or the DSi. Well, the DSi, no, but the DS and the 3DS have been the main handheld consoles, But anyway, that's fucking the only hardware we're going to put on this one.
That's the hardware side. So, guys, as you know, if you are a gamer, we've had Game Fest over the weekend, just gone. We had State of Play, which was Friday, I believe, and then we had a couple of others. And then we had the Xbox Showcase last night, 6:00. So we're going to talk about. I mean, I watched both of the main ones, State of Play and obviously Xbox. I don't own a PS5, but I have owned one in the past. I just don't play it as much as I play my Xbox. So I don't see the point in owning one right now. But there are some games that I'm going to highlight that were announced and maybe they're shown a little bit more on Friday. One of which I was very, very surprised to see was 007 First Light by IO Interactive. So this is kind of like, from what I've seen, it looks like a Hitman style James Bond game, and it looks like it's kind of like very early James Bond era, where he's kind of like rogue type thing, and he's trying to like hone his skills and stuff like that. And it looks very Hitmanish. I mean, the last one I can remember really is GoldenEye.
No, there was one on the 360.
Oh, the Quantum of Solace.
There was Quantum of Solace, that was 360. There was another one that was separate. It wasn't anything to do with the films. I can't remember what it was called, but that was on the 360.
Okay, so the last good one was GoldenEye.
Yeah, pretty much.
The last good James Bond game was GoldenEye. So it's nice to get a new IP, from a franchise that's been going as long as James Bond has. It's going to be an interesting play that one, and I think I might get hold of a PlayStation just to kind of play that, but I need a little bit more information on that
I was
first.
going to say, is it a PlayStation exclusive?
I believe so.
Well, are we sure? Because they're fucking de-exclusivizing everything at the minute.
Well, I'm not 100% sure, but again, it's one of them we don't know for sure, and we'll have to keep a very, very close eye on it. Another very, very good kind of announcement was Silent Hill F by Neobards Entertainment. Again, I love the Silent Hill series. I've played all the Silent Hills. I played the remake, and it was phenomenal. And I'm looking forward to seeing what Silent Hill F can bring to the table. That's definitely going to be an interesting one. Another one that caught my eye was Ghost of Yotei. Again, this was announced a little while ago, but they've shown a little bit more of it this time. It's the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima. You play a different character, going by the name of Yotei in this one, and it's again, it's made by Sucker Punch, and it's a very, very good kind of old style Japanese game. The combat is incredibly it's an incredible playthrough. Graphically, it's stunning. The scenery is it's up there with some of the best I have ever seen in a game. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
Well, it looks like they're remaking Resident Evil 2 and 3 again.
I think they're releasing the originals.
So they're just remastering it as opposed to remaking it.
Yeah, because they've already remade 2 and 3. One that did catch me eye that I was not expecting, and this one kind of come out of nowhere for me personally, was the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. Now, so we touched on hardware from Xbox, and there was a little bit of hardware announced from Sony in the state of play. They've actually announced that they are going to do a controller specifically for the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. It's kind of like the old style stick and buttons.
I wonder how much they're going to charge for that.
I have no idea. But
they
the
also
Mortal Kombat
spelled
Legacy,
collection wrong.
No, that's done on purpose. You
they
idiot.
Spelled collection wrong. It's spelled with a K, not a C. The stupid people.
It's done on purpose because you're an idiot. But yeah, Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection basically holds all the Mortal Kombat games from the arcades and the handheld into one big collection. So you can play them on the PlayStation using just a normal controller, or you can use the new piece of hardware that they're gonna bring out with the game as well. Again, that is a phenomenal kind of pull there from Sony, to be fair. And I think the last two for me that caught my eye was Noah 3 made by Team Ninja, and then Thief VR Legacy of Shadows made by Maze Theory. Two really good games. I mean, Noir is a very, 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 very good game. It's got a very, very good cult following, that game. For the other two, again, combat is incredible in them games. So I'm looking forward to that one. And then Thief. I mean, Thief is a very, very good game anyway. But having it in VR, I mean, VR has taken things by storm recently anyway. The PlayStation VR, the Meta Quest, all that kind of stuff is really good. I mean, I really want to get my hands on the VR, to be fair, because I feel like it's going to be a really good experience, to be honest with you.
I don't know. I mean, until it gets to the Ready Player One style stuff, I'm not interested, to be honest. We did see something. I did see something the other day with one of those omnidirectional treadmill things, and it works, and it is doing something, and it does control the character and stuff like that. But it's a long way away from being in every home and affordable anyway. Until it gets to that point, what's the point? I've got a big TV. I'm happy with that. I wouldn't sit there with something over my face looking like a bellend to play something that I can't. It's not true VR. It's just not true VR.
That's not true VR. The Ready Player One was just an insane kind of concept for a film, to be fair, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, it was a book first. However, it's not. So if you look at a lot of fantasy stuff, it's out of the realms of possibility. You know, it's just not possible. But apart from the sort of dystopian sort of thing that, well, mind you, that's not out of the realms of possibility at the moment. But if you look at the dystopian sort of thing where he's in the back of a crashed out van and all of that with it, the actual hardware that he uses is not impossible. And in fact, I think some of it exists. Like I say, the omnidirectional treadmill, that exists. The feedback sort of suit, maybe not to that extent, but there is a vest that exists, because I've seen it on one of the other YouTube channels that I watch, that does give you feedback when you get shot in a game or something like that. It's also all done via vibration. But the stuff that he uses in that, the Meta headset is probably what they used as their prop as well, because that exists. So to have what he has as a game controller, which is essentially what that is, it all exists. It's just, one, I imagine, quite expensive.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Two, you need the space. You're going to have to set it up in a room, which for me would be the front room. So that's obviously not going to work. You've seen my house. It's not going to work, is it? And three, you got to make sure your 3-year-old doesn't go spilling drinks all over it. So it's not sort of in the realms of being in households yet. And that will be when true VR happens, when that stuff starts getting sold at Asda alongside the Xbox Series fucking 74 or whatever the fuck they're going to call it.
You've got to bear in mind that, it's the base form of VR. And again, considering, our first kind of tap into that was kind of like the Kinect and stuff like that, kind of like that interactive kind of movement with the Wii, like the Wii.
Yeah,
It was like the movement kind of thing. That was kind of like our first kind of dab at home entertainment kind of thing. Obviously, you could go to specialist places and have it done, outside of the home. But like in the home, you're talking like the Wii was kind of like your first kind of, you had to be up and do something to actually get something out of the game.
Well,
the same with the Kinect.
That was until they figured out you could just play tennis sat on the couch with a beer in your other hand,
Well, yeah, exactly. But having the Meta Quest and having the PSVR and stuff like that, it does kind of give you that immersion that you can't get with just sitting here with, sitting in front of a screen with your headphones on. You get immersed, don't get me wrong. I could sit here for hours and play whatever I'm playing in front of the TV with my headphones on, because I feel like I'm enclosed then, and I've got my gaming room as well, so I lock myself in here and that's that. But having that VR and being stood up and kind of having that interaction, it does alleviate some of the some things that you have, especially if you can't sit down for an awful long time. You might have like leg trouble or something like that, and you need to up and down. But you still want to play. You still want to play games. The VR kind of gives you that escape as well, which is another good thing. Plus, if you have an epic fail and run into a couch or something, it's fucking hilarious to look at from the outside.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. You shit yourself in the horror games and everything.
Yeah, I've saw videos on TikTok where people have put like wooden planks on the floor, do you know what I mean? And people have walked across the wooden planks on the floor and then they fell off it and thought they were falling to the death. Do you know what I mean? There was one kid playing like a boxing game or something, I think it was, and his sister walked past and she got twatted in the face.
I saw that. He got belted. Yeah, she got belted.
Do you know what I mean? Another one got scared so much, she was an older woman, she ran into the TV head first. It's just hilarious to watch from the outside.
I think again, down to what I said about the ROG. For me, it's pointless. I'm quite happy to sit there on my couch, staring up at my big TV, playing my game on my big TV, instead of having the sort of the headset on, having it all around. I don't see the point. But that's just me. I'd probably be a lot skinnier if the Ready Player One style fucking gaming existed. Because you imagine?
I guarantee if Destiny 2 or Destiny 3 came out on VR and it was VR only, he'd be the first in the fucking queue, guys. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, and I'd probably lose a hell of a lot. Can you imagine playing just from what you played of Destiny 2, which is a lot less of a lot less than I did, or I have, considering I'm still playing it. Can you, even Destiny 1, we both played through Destiny 1 together when I first got it, didn't we? Can you imagine playing either of those two games Ready Player One style?
It'd be a bit mad, wouldn't it? Let's be honest. It would
just
be a bit
the
insane.
exercise you'd get, it'd be insane. Look, right, so State of Play is PlayStation's one, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. Obviously Xbox has had theirs yesterday.
Xbox had theirs at time of recording yesterday. But before we get into that, we've had our first email.
Have we?
Yes, we have.
Oh, God, no.
So, there's a couple of questions from Timmy. I've spoken to him. He doesn't mind us using his name.
Timmy.
Exactly what I said, and he will laugh at that because that is exactly what I did.
Timmy.
He's not, and besides the fact that Timmy isn't actually his name. Well, it is, but it isn't. But anyway, so I'm going to ask you these because, to be honest with you, because of your experience in gaming versus my very limited game catalogue, you probably got better.
Limited.
You've probably got better answers to these questions than I ever would have.
Oh God.
So he's the first one is because I don't like RPG games as well. I don't think I do. Favorite RPG game of all time?
That is a tough one, and that is an extremely tough one. I would have to probably say Skyrim.
Right. So when I first got my first more modern Xbox, when I first got my job at the company that I work at now, in 2016, I got myself a Xbox One S, and I asked you what games I wanted, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
And so I wholeheartedly blame it on you, the fact that I love Destiny, because that was one of your recommendations. But I tried Skyrim.
It wasn't me.
Yes, it was. I tried Skyrim and I didn't like it because I don't. As I've now found out, I don't like RPGs. I just don't really. I don't know, too slow and stuff like that for me. I don't like them. So I can't really have an opinion on that one because I don't play RPGs. As simple as that.
Skyrim was insane. I dumped so many hours into Skyrim. It was insane. Like, yeah, the game doesn't feel like it ever ends, and that's the whole point. There was so many aspects to it, and it felt like it was so far ahead of its time as well. You know, from where Oblivion was. Which was obviously the predecessor to it. And then when Skyrim come out later, it was just like, whoa, what the hell? And then when they added mod support, years later, because obviously mod support was already on PC, and it's only been recently that the Xbox has been given mod support, and the game just, again, it hit another level with mods. I played through it numerous times with different characters, and it just felt like every time I played through it felt like a new game. So Skyrim is definitely one of the best RPGs, if not the best RPG, in my opinion.
Fair enough. Which gaming character would you want on your side in a fight? Some good questions, actually.
It depends on the fight. I'm not gonna lie, but if I had to pick one, I'd say Geralt of Rivia from The Witcher 3.
Right, okay, well, obviously I can't really.
So Geralt was a Witcher, and he basically, his background is he deals with monsters. He's got two swords on his back, one for dealing with humans, one for dealing with monsters. He has basically like forms of magic. He calls them signs. He's effectively a mutant. And he's just, his combat style is incredible. The fact that, like I said, he's a mutant and he's got the level of combat with the two swords and stuff like that. I just think he'd be a boss character all around, and no one would be able to get anywhere near you.
Fair enough. I don't actually know, because my sort of gaming thing goes from it'd probably be Bond, I'd imagine.
Fucking Link.
Do you know what? I was thinking that for the Ocarina and the Magic side of things, but I don't actually know.
Fucking Mario. It's a me, Mario.
Do you know
Give him a couple of mushrooms.
That might be a good idea because the person I'm fighting might just look and go, "What the actual fuck?" And by the time they've actually processed the situation, I fucked off down the road. Games you wanted to love but couldn't get into.
Oh, Anthem.
Yes, I was about to say that myself. Anthem is so much potential, much potential, and they just fucking put it in the toilet.
Yeah, Anthem, and then probably more recently, Skull and Bones.
Yes, you told me about that. I haven't played it based on what you told me.
Yeah, Skull and Bones had so much potential, and like I said, it's a Ubisoft game, and considering Ubisoft made Black Flag, which is an Assassin's Creed game based in, again, around the same era as Skull and Bones is, and there's a lot that, especially at release, you couldn't do. I don't know now, but there was a lot that you couldn't do in Skull and Bones, considering it was meant to be a pure pirate game as well.
Well, didn't you tell me they couldn't swim?
They couldn't swim and all that on release. Again, like I said, I don't know now because I haven't followed any updates or anything, if it's had any. And it was just like, oh, you have so failed in this game. And it just, I'm so glad I paid for Ubisoft Plus for it because I didn't pay for it. I didn't have the Anthem problem.
You didn't do the Anthem thing, where you couldn't return it because you bought the digital one.
Yeah, I'm never going to live that down, by the way, guys. He bought the physical copy of Anthem, and then because it was so bad, he traded it into CEX and got, was it 30 quid back?
Yeah, something like that. I got Crackdown 3 out of it. So
yeah, so he was able to think, but obviously because I bought the digital copy, I spent 50 quid, and Anthem is forever on my library, and I can't get rid of it.
But I mean, it's on my library now because I got EA Play as part. You get EA Play as part of... What's it? As part of Xbox Ultimate. But yeah, Anthem, probably the big one, is the one that I really wanted to like but couldn't get into. Not just because I couldn't get into it, just because it was shit. I don't really think there's been much other sort of, coming off the top of my head, much other games that I can think of that I wanted to try.
Halo Infinite.
Halo Infinite's probably a good one. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because I mean, after the fucking pissed offness of Halo 5.
I was pretty pissed at Guardians, to be fair.
I mean, because I never played through it, did I? And I don't know if you remember, me and you came round to mine and we got pissed and we had a good night and we sort of kicked it up on the Xbox and I was like, well, what's the point in kicking it up? Because we could be here for hours and hours. Me and you went through it and completed it in 5 hours, if that. And don't forget that we were pissed. When I say pissed, I mean fucking gone.
Well, he was.
Which doesn't take much for me. And we played through it in 5 hours. If we were sober, I reckon we could have bumped that out in half of that. Do you know what I mean? And after that, sort of, because Halo 1 was probably the first game I played on the Xbox.
Yeah, probably.
Because that's what my dad got when he got me my original Xbox. And then Halo 2 come out, and as I said before, I couldn't get a 360 at the time. When I did get one, I played it. I had a play of it. And then I sort of just lost it. I ended up on other games, but I did get the Master Chief Collection and start playing through that. But again, I've not got much time to do it. But we played through 5 together, and then Infinite come out, and it was shit. That might be down to my gaming sort of experience, but I didn't really rate it to the point where I got rid of it off my Xbox before I got my memory card because I needed space for Destiny. Favorite gaming female character?
Oh damn!
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know many gaming female characters.
Oh man, that's a tough one. That is a very, 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 very difficult question. Why female?
I don't know. That's what he said. He's just said favorite gaming female character. Probably because he wants to know how pervy we are.
Timmy, you've got issues, man. You know what? I mean, you're not gonna know who this is, but I'm gonna say Lightning, from Final Fantasy 13. Yeah, Final Fantasy 13. Purely because I love Final Fantasy. Anyway, but she was such a badass in the first game, and then you kind of see a character kind of progress, through the two games, because they've done 13 and then 13 too. And it was such an evolved character from start to finish. And I think she was just played extremely well, to be fair. So yeah, I'd probably go with Lightning from Final Fantasy 13.
I like the way you've gotten away from the way that they look and stuff.
Never noticed.
I don't know many female gaming characters that are lead as well. Pretty much all of the games that I play is all male character leads anyway. Destiny's
that's starting to say something, guys.
Well, it depends what day it is. But I wholeheartedly can't answer that, because apart from that one, what was that game that was released not long ago where they ended up doing a load of fucking mods of it, and this big female gaming character had massive tits? What was that?
That was Resident Evil.
That was
Resident Evil 8. That was Resident Evil Village with Lady Dimitrescu, or whatever her name was, the vampire.
Yeah, and for a cartoon character, for a gaming character, she was fit, but yeah,
also a vampire.
Well, she could give a good suck, but that sort of sorry, that barrel's getting scraped again. That's about as, like I say, my knowledge of gaming isn't what his is. So I haven't sort of got an answer for that, to be honest. But I do have an answer for this one myself. The final question.
Okay.
Thoughts on gaming companies bringing in pay-to-win elements?
I absolutely hate it. It pisses me off. I fucking despise it. I hate monetization. It does me head in. There was a game released recently on mobile, Game of Thrones, King's Road, and basically, I can't stand IGN. I think they're backwards. I think it's a very backwards company. But in the review, they basically turned around and said that every time you kind of want to advance or anything, it's everything stuck behind the paywall, and it pisses me off. I'd rather grind for 12 hours than pay £7 or whatever it'd be to get me to lose, to get me there quicker. Fuck off. Get rid of it. It just does me head in. There's no need for it in the gaming industry, under any game, under any circumstances. It does my fucking nothing. Get rid of it. If I find a game that's got a paywall on it, I'm stabbing it with a pen.
Well, that's not going to be easy, considering that all you buy is digital games.
I'll stab my Xbox with a pen.
I don't understand. Okay. I don't understand people who spend real money on elements of games that don't have any advantage. So again, Destiny 2. Look at the shop in Destiny 2. It's all skins or this, that, and the other that makes you look a certain way or whatever. It doesn't have
cosmetics.
Yeah, cosmetics. That's it. It doesn't have any sort of effect on playing the game. The only thing that does is when you start buying Destiny 2 Silver, and you can advance levels via using Destiny 2 Silver.
Yeah.
But that's cheating. That's not playing the game. You need to play the game. I don't understand it. But pay to win, in my eyes, is also cheating, because you've got, if you're looking at games that work the same mechanically as Destiny 2 in regards to you with people, randomers here, there, and everywhere, or whatever, and you're playing together to have a sort of unified goal at the end.
Call of Duty.
Same. Yeah, I'd imagine is that the same as Destiny in regards to server-based playing with other people and all that?
Well, you'll have team deathmatch effectively, which, all right, it's PvP, but there you can still have elements where obviously, you got to kill everyone, but there are elements where you can buy different types of weapons, you can buy, different perks and stuff like that to give you an advantage against other players that have either just started or, I've only been playing, I've only had a couple of matches. You might have only just started yourself, but if you've gone and spent an extra £100 on, gear or whatever like that, then you're going to have a distinct advantage. And that's what pisses me off, the whole pay to win thing. The whole aspect of it just does my fucking head in. And this is why I don't play online anymore.
Yeah, your microtransactions are something that I don't agree with. And if you download a game for free, you can end up paying fucking thousands of pounds over a year to play a game. And it's actually made more obvious on mobile phone games, like you've just said, because I don't know why they do it on mobile phone games. I believe the football game FIFA, which isn't FIFA anymore because they lost the naming right, I believe they had a lot of microtransactions.
Yeah,
but
on
then again,
Ultimate Team.
That was EA being EA. I believe they introduced microtransactions into a lot of their games, which is just wrong. You're paying fucking 50 to 80 quid for a game to then have to pay another X amount over X amount of time to play that game. Now, you obviously, like I said, I pre-ordered, and I do every time, the Destiny expansions, but that's a full new sort, especially now, a new sort of storyline and a new set of things to do. It's not microtransactions, it's not pay to win, it's pay to play, which is a different thing.
Yeah, DLC is DLC, and then obviously paying £10 or whatever for a brand new weapon or something. Or I think it's worse when you look at, again, I think Call of Duty have done it, especially like there's the zombies kind of aspect on Black Ops 6, where they'll do like a season event, and it'll say, for example, you've got to kill over this event. Say you've got to kill like 10,000 zombies, in a 30-day period or something like that. That's the grind part. Or you can pay $12.99 to get everything right now. What's the point? Do you know what I mean? Just take away the whole microtransaction. I know you want to make money. I totally get that. But at the same time, you're taking the fun out of it as well. You're taking the fun out of someone who either can't afford to pay $12.99 or doesn't want to pay the $12.99. You're taking that fun away from them, and I feel like you're isolating people as well, because I don't want to pay $12.99 for an extra weapon that, all right, it might give me an extra, couple of hundred damage over someone who hasn't got that weapon. Fine, but I'm taking the fun away from them, because if I keep killing them and killing them and killing them, they're going to get frustrated and pissed off, and then not play anymore. So then you've lost a player. So not only have you lost $12.99,
you've lost someone else who was a player.
You've lost a player.
That's my problem with the likes of Crucible and Crucible PvP. Obviously, with my skill, and Timmy will know this because I've played Destiny with him. Because of my sort of skill level not being fantastic, because I ain't got time.
That's an understatement.
The no time thing or not being fantastic? Don't answer that. I get annoyed at sort of playing with people who, in my view, probably cheat, aim bots and so on, because we do end up getting matched with people who play on PC. Well, I know PC is probably better controls because it's faster, because the mouse and the keyboard. I appreciate that. However, it should be thought about when somebody like myself who plays with an Xbox, or someone who plays with like Timmy who does play with a PlayStation. It should be thought about not to match us with PC gamers, because all that happens is I spawn in and I die. Well, I have to use Crucible for certain things.
That's what you do anyway, though.
Shut up. I do quite well, thank you. But when you constantly play... Don't pull that face. When you're constantly playing against other players who, they've already started in Destiny stopping matching you with complete disparate skill from yourself. Yeah. I had it a couple of weeks ago when I was doing Iron Banner on there. They turned round and we battered... we actually did good. We battered the opposite team that much that they turned round, and while they were rematching us for a new match, they turned round and I had a thing on it saying splitting you up, basically, and matching you with other people because your skill level in that match was so much better than the other team We can't have you going around battering the shit out of everybody, which is fair enough because you've got to have an equal playing field. Everybody's got to have a chance. And I feel if they're matching specifically PC gamers, because the controls are so much better, with people who are on Xbox or PlayStation, it's too much, because there's been several hundreds of times that I've spawned in, gone running around doing what I've got to do, and somehow died because they got that good a shot off that they're either using an aimbot or they're on a PC. And I think that again, it takes the fun away from people like me, like you just said, who aren't as good as other people. I give up playing the game. I've done it before.
Yeah, it is. It can be bad, and like I said, microtransactions do not. It doesn't make the game better at all. It makes it worse for a lot of people. But if that's what you want to do, if that's the only, if you can't be bothered to spend 10 hours, 20 hours grinding to get to something, and you'd rather spend 50 quid on something, then that's your prerogative. But just bear in mind that if you are one of those people, you suck. Simple as that. Anyway, thanks for your email, Timmy.
Yeah, I hope Timmy. I hope that sort of is answers. I know I went on a rant there about something else, but I hope that answers. That's what I always do. Answers some of the questions that you've had, and if you've got any more about anything else, let us know. Speaking of Black Ops, because you've just spoken about Black Ops, the Xbox game showcase, which all I've seen on social media is everybody going, it was shit, it was pointless, it was boring. I've not seen anything about the PlayStation one, however. So what does that say? Black Ops 7 was announced.
Yay.
Which doesn't make much sense to me because it's not. Black Ops 6 hasn't been out that long.
Yay. Yeah, so basically the showcase ended with Phil Spencer going on about the whole, the fact that next year it's been 25 years since Xbox and stuff like that, since the first console and blah, 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 which makes me feel fucking old as shit.
Oh, yeah, yes, mate. 2001. Yeah, sorry, I was doing the maths. You saw me doing the maths in my head there, didn't you?
Yeah, he's literally thinking there. But yeah, November 2001, first Xbox, so it's been 25 years next year. 25-year anniversary of the Xbox console. So obviously at that point I'm sat there, I'm watching it, not live because I was a little bit behind at this point because of obviously family stuff. But I'm sat there watching it, anticipating, literally foaming at the mouth of Phil Spencer because he says the words, games that have been with us since the beginning. And I'm foaming at the mouth thinking I'm going to get something good here and I'm going to get something epic. No, we get Call of Duty Black Ops 7. And I'm thinking, literally, we've just had Black Ops 6.
What were you wanting, though?
I was wanting Halo.
We've got Halo. It's called the fucking Master Chief Collection.
No, I wanted a new
Halo no, you game. Won't get a new Halo game because they're still firing away at Infinite, aren't they?
No, they stopped with Infinite. They're bringing out like little season things, but apart from that, they're not really doing anything with it. Okay. But I wanted a Halo game because Halo has been with Xbox since the beginning. When it first came out in 2001, Halo was one of the launch titles with it, and that's what I was expecting. I was so disappointed that we didn't get a Halo announcement. I was fuming, and the only reason they've announced Black Ops 7 is because they've obviously recently acquired Activision.
Yeah.
So obviously, we're probably going to get some extra little bits now on the Call of Duty games. Going forward that Sony probably won't get. Yay, Xbox.
Well, yeah, but I mean, look at what was the other one? Gears of War Reloaded.
Yeah.
I thought that already existed.
So Gears of War Reloaded is basically it's a PS5 game.
Right. So Gears of War PS5 exclusive, was it?
No. So Gears of War Reloaded is basically the first game on PS5.
Right.
Because Gears of War is an Xbox exclusive, always has been. First Gears of War was out on the 360.
I've got it wrong. Right.
Yeah. So they brought out Gears of War, and then obviously the subsequent games after that. And then they brought out the remastered version basically a couple of years ago. And now they're bringing out Reloaded. Now Reloaded is basically it's a graphics update yet again.
Yeah, so
this
one of the
is
things
the
I'm
whole
pissed
thing,
off about. Yeah.
the whole thing with the remaster. But basically, effectively, what they've done is they've brought out Reloaded, and Reloaded is going out onto the PlayStation 5.
Right, so this is happening with quite a lot of games now, isn't it? Halo has been floating around that they do it, but I don't think they will, unless it's been confirmed.
No, I've not heard anything, to be fair. It'd be
I
big
don't
news,
think
that, to be fair.
Yeah, it would be. It'd be massive news. So I don't think they will, but there are a few games that the Xbox
floating between the two.
and Xbox and PlayStation were exclusive, but are now not. Because well, look, at the end of the day, the only thing that makes you play certain consoles is the exclusive game. If we start losing the exclusive game, what's the point? What are you going to play? Which console are you going to pick? Now, I'm always going to pick Xbox because that's just what I'm like. But you float between the two. But you only float between the two based on the exclusivity game. The exclusive games. So if exclusivity goes, I'm gonna take a wild guess that you're gonna stick with Microsoft.
I probably would stick with Microsoft, and the main reason being is because I play Xbox more. I've got more of a friend base on Xbox, so I would stick with Xbox more. Not only that, I find the Xbox a lot more user friendly than I do the PlayStation. I find the interface better. I find that it's easier to kind of do certain things as well on the Xbox than it is on the PlayStation. Obviously, again, that could change with the next generation of consoles, which we're expecting around 2027, 2028, something like that. Within the next couple of years, anyway, we're expecting kind of like the new hardware. But yeah, I probably still will be an Xbox now, even though I started off. With the battle between Sony and Xbox, I started off as a Sony guy because I started off on a Sony PlayStation, and then kind of just gravitated towards Xbox. But I've always played both consoles, even to this day. As I said before, I've owned both, and I don't have the PlayStation 5 anymore. But I've still got the Series X.
That should tell you enough to tell you what your preferences are.
Yeah, but there were a couple of big announcements for the Xbox Showcase. Obviously, we touched on the hardware, but we've known about this game for a while because it was announced a couple of years ago. But the Outer Worlds 2, that is out this year. Big improvement from the first one. So that's going to be an absolutely epic game, I think. Ninja Gaiden 4, again, obviously another game that's been with Xbox for a long time. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 remake. They dropped a demo last night. It's like a little 2-minute kind of play around, and it definitely looks a lot different. Plays a lot better as well.
Yeah, well, as far as I remember, 3 and 4 were 360.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure I played one of them. It might have been 2 that I played on the 360.
Yeah, 2 I loved. I loved number 2. I thought that was. I easily think that number 2 is the best one out of the 4.
Heaven is a half pipe was one of the songs, wasn't it?
Yeah, TNT as well. I was on there. And then they announced Grounded 2, which again I love the concept of Grounded 2. I've never played the game because I hate bugs, but I love the concept of Grounded 2. It's such an incredible concept to play a game. It's a phenomenal kind of way that it's been done.
Well, this is like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids or some shit.
Effectively, yeah. That is effectively, yeah. They announced DLC for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, The Order of the Giants.
Oh, that actually, back to one of Timmy's questions, that's probably one of the games that I tried that I wanted to like but don't.
Indiana Jones, again,
Great Circle,
looking at it now. Yeah, I was the same, to be fair. But I think that the two games that I'm really keen to play, out of all the games that they announced, Clockwork and Dawnwalker.
I was just about to say that Clockwork. I had while you were talking before. I had a quick look down the list on this website. So At news.xbox.com, which is probably the best place to get this stuff from. We're looking at sort of a picture with just the names of the games on it, and it goes into a lot more depth a bit lower on as you go down with the games and stuff. And I was looking at that Clockwork Revolution, and as much as I don't like RPGs, it is an RPG. It looks really good.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept, being able to kind of manipulate time to kind of suit your needs at the time. It's a very, very good concept, and it's going to be an interesting playthrough, to be honest, I reckon.
High on Life 2. I think I tried High on Life and I didn't quite like it, but I don't know. It wasn't that was that funny one, wasn't it? It was.
Yeah. I think something to do with. I think it's something to do with the creators of Rick and Morty or something along those lines.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because the guns, the weapons taught you and stuff like that. It's very, very weird, but very fun concept, to be fair.
Well, one thing I've noticed.
Go on.
Correct me because you'll know. Elder Scrolls Online.
Mm-hmm.
Sea of Thieves.
Mm-hmm.
Fallout 76.
Mm-hmm.
That Final Fantasy that I can't quite read because it's very small. Is it 6 or 7 or something?
7.
They already exist.
Yes.
So Elder Scrolls Online I bought with my Series S.
So Elder Scrolls Online is basically like almost like DLC. Fallout 76, again, yes, it's DLC. It's kind of like something to do with fishing.
Well, Fallout 76 was wank, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was on release, yes, but now it's got a very good cult following that now. To be fair, okay. It's got some dedicated followers. To be fair, what other ones you mentioned? Sea of Thieves, again DLC.
Is it a DLC? Right, okay. I wish you put fucking DLC on these photos.
Smugglers Guild or something like that. I think it is. I believe it was. So you can now play as a smuggler, or you will be able to when it's released. And Final Fantasy, I think it's more because they're coming to Xbox.
Yeah, because Final Fantasy were PlayStation exclusive, weren't they?
Yeah, especially 7 because it's the remake of 7 from the PlayStation.
Right, okay, fine.
And then Final Fantasy 16, I think, was the other one.
Well, I've just spotted that next to it. Yeah, I was too busy for the Final Fantasy that I couldn't fucking read. I didn't look at the one that I could fucking read. That sort of, there's a few other bits and bats, but they're sort of the more noteworthy ones.
There's a couple of
Super Meat Boy 3D.
Yeah, it
sounds a bit
kind
gay.
of like an indie. It's a indie kind of 3D platformer type thing.
Right.
It's being interesting, kind of
like an original
playable,
like an original fucking Nintendo game kind of thing.
Kind of ish. Kind of reminds me of like Split Fiction. I mean, because it was what we saw of it. It was kind of like the kind of like 2D, 3D kind of platformer, like moving about, side scrolling kind of stuff. And like Split Fiction, I mean, I've spoke about Split Fiction to yourself, and I thought Split Fiction, the concept of that game was absolutely phenomenal. You can't play it solo, play it single player. It has to be done as a multiplayer, and I played it through with my brother, and it was just, I loved it from start to finish. I don't think I've been hooked on a game as much as Split Fiction in recent memory. It was so good. Absolutely loved it. Such a good game. But moving away from the kind of showcase stuff, we won't touch on any more of the history because I think we kind of covered that really. First game out in 58,
and
10-2.
Going along to sort of what we are now, there's no sort of history as such. It's just the evolution of gaming in regards to the games themselves. We've already sort of said our sort of top 5, our top 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
I want to take cross-platform out of this because I don't see the point. There's that much that's cross-platform now. It's not really worth talking about, is it? It's just, I mean, Apex Legends, fucking most of the Call of Duty stuff and stuff like that. It's not really worth talking about. What is sort of worth talking about is what certain. Well, I mean, you said you hate them, but they seem to be a really good sort of source of information.
IGN?
IGN. So, I mean, their top 10 They have a top 10 best-selling video games of all time list.
So before we actually get into this, guys, I want to know what your top 10 is. So I want to know what your top 10, in your opinion, what your top 10 best-selling games are of all time. Now, this is just for fun. It doesn't have to be accurate or anything like that. We'll tell you ours, but pause it here and write down in the comments what your personal top 10 best-selling games are, and we'll go through what IGN says they are.
So IGN says The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt at 10.
And how many did it sell?
50 million plus.
Damn.
Now, you like The Witcher, though, don't you?
I do. But let's just put that into context. This is the top 10 best-selling games, or a best-selling game of all time. And The Witcher 3 is 10th with 50 plus million sold. 50 million plus copies sold, and it's number 10.
Now, these guys say this is a big surprise in the list, which it actually is, because it's a 2D sandbox game. It's called Terraria, if I've pronounced that right. 58.7 million. That sold better than The Witcher 3. Released
in May 2011, whereas Witcher 3 was May 2015, so 4 years later.
4 years later, yeah. Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim with 60 million is at 8. Red Dead Redemption 2 at 64 million is 7th.
Such a good game.
Mario Kart 8 and Deluxe at 6 with 70.43 million.
That's insane.
No, do you know why they sold so many Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart 8 Deluxes?
Because it was remastered.
No, because they didn't have any other fucking games on the thing.
Yeah, true.
5th is PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, which sold 75 million. I've never actually heard of that.
PUBG,
yeah. 4, Wii Sports, 82.9 million. Again, because there was no other fucking games on the thing.
Not worth playing anyway.
Surprisingly, at 3, GTA 5 with 200 million plus. At 2, your favourite, Minecraft, 300 million. At number 1, now, I was going to ask you to guess, but you've already seen the fucking list. Tetris, 520 million copies of Tetris sold.
But we've got to put that into context, because, you know, Tetris has been out since the 1980s, 1984. So it's obviously got like a big leap on, you know, the other games there in regards to time released. And then, you know, the amount of platforms that Tetris has been on as well. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it was its own platform at one point, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what I mean? But it's on mobile now. Do you know what I mean? You can get it on the Xbox, you can get it on the Switch, PC. So it's on pretty much everything, because it's such a basic game.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, so what? That was 1984. Let's scroll back up the list a quick minute and just see what the next oldest game is. That's 2009 for Minecraft. Wii Sports, when was Wii Sports? 2006, so it's Wii Sports at the minute.
Yeah.
It was 06. 2024, so it's not that. 2011 doesn't even come close. 2011 again. So again, the only one that comes close is Minecraft in 2006.
Yeah.
So that's 40 years?
Roughly,
nearly.
Give or take. Yeah.
40 year. There's a 40-year kind of gap there between Tetris and what, like, what was it, Wii Sports?
But there's only a 200 between Tetris and Wii Sports.
Wii Sports, yeah, because it's 2006, yeah.
Right. How many copies of Wii Sports did they sell again?
82.9, mate.
82.9 million.
Yeah, so let's say 83.
So in an extra X amount of years, Tetris sold fucking
460 million copies.
Well, I mean, so that's that's the sort of the best-selling games.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference between the best-selling and the best. Now,
massive difference.
The best games is quite sort of objective.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't like Red Dead 2, you loved it, kind of thing, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know how IGN or anybody who does this best games lists actually fucking do the judgment. I don't know how they judge it. Now, I'm not going to go through the entire 100 fucking list because we've been on for just over an hour and a half now. And we probably could have made a part 3. But I'm not going to go over the entire list. I am going to, however, just pull up a few things that I sort of on this list that IGN have got agree with and don't agree with. And I know you don't agree with a couple of things on this list because we went through it quickly before, didn't we?
There's a few, yeah.
So, right. We've just said that the re-releasing Pro Skater 2, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, yeah?
Yeah.
That's number 86 on this list, the original.
Oh, wait, no, it was 3 and 4. Sorry.
Was it 3 and 4? Sorry, my bad.
4.
Well, 2, which we both said we liked anyway because we mentioned it, is number 86 on the list. This list is from, when's this list from?
2021.
2021 update, yeah. Resident Evil 2's remake's 84. You said that shouldn't be on the list earlier on, didn't you?
It's not that it shouldn't be on the list, but I prefer the original because when you talk about a game that, I feel like you should take the original version of that game because without the original version, you can't have a remake.
Yeah.
And that's the way I see it.
Fair enough. Fortnite, number 79 on the list. Fortnite was a prime example of what I said before about people who haven't got as much of a skill, and what you said before about people buying stuff. One that I don't agree with being so low down the list, GoldenEye 007, number 77 on the list.
No, that should be well higher than that.
That should be well higher than that, especially as Microsoft released it on Game Pass.
And it was still so good.
Yeah, because they didn't fuck with the graphics.
They
did nothing to it except do whatever they needed to do to make it work on an Xbox. And I thank them for that. Because I tell you something, if they'd have fucked with the graphics, I could have very, very well gone away from Xbox.
Would you, just quickly before we move on that though, if they would have done something to it like they did with Halo, the Master Chief Collection on Halo 1, where you could press the back button and flick between new and old graphics, would that have been a problem?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I didn't know you could flick between new and old graphics on that Halo.
Oh, for God's sake.
So all that would have happened was, I probably still would have played it. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to see it in Unreal Engine 5. Properly remastered. Same as Ocarina of Time. Same thing. Throw it in Unreal Engine 5 and remaster the fuck out of it so that it's perfect. So it's like you are watching GoldenEye when fucking Pierce Brosnan played it. But they won't do that because they can't, because it has to stay original. Didn't you say before Grand Theft Auto San Andreas was one of the best Grand Theft Auto games?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 66th on that list.
Yeah.
So I assume that you would want that higher.
100%. That should be higher. That should be in the top 20.
What else have we got? Sorry, I'm looking. Overwatch, 56th on the list. You didn't like Overwatch, did you? You said it was rubbish.
I wasn't a fan, like.
I've not played it, but I like the look of it. I don't know why. Apex Legends.
Yeah, Apex Legends.
55th on the list. Miss Pac-Man.
That should be lower down.
53rd on the list.
The one that I don't agree with, that's a little bit further down, Fallout New Vegas at number 45. What the actual fuck is Fallout New Vegas doing at 45? That should be in the top 10.
Well, top 10 will be interesting because we are going to do the entire top 10. We're just flicking through this lower list here.
Skyrim should not be at 41. What the absolute fuck is that? That's a travesty.
Last of Us 2, Red Dead Redemption, 37th.
Metal Gear Solid's at 36. Are you taking the fucking piss? Who was high when they made this list? I swear to fuck.
Well, you see, I don't agree with this one. 34th on the list, Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, that's only because you bomb it every year.
It should be higher.
Minecraft
it should definitely be higher than fucking Minecraft.
Yeah, Minecraft shouldn't even be on the list. Let's be honest, it's shit.
No. Halo Combat Evolved, 32nd.
How is that only 32? Like,
what else have we got? Final Fantasy, Doom. Tetris is 28th on the list, which is kind of interesting considering it's the best-selling game of all time.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Street Fighter 2 and Super Mario Bros. How the fuck are they 22 and 21 on this list? Street Fighter 2 is widely regarded as the best Street Fighter game of all time.
The best Street Fighter game, but if all the Street Fighter games are shit, the best of shit is still shit, isn't it?
Bloodborne shouldn't be 19. BioShock shouldn't be 18. The Last of Us shouldn't be 17.
What, should all these be higher, you mean?
Yeah, they should be higher.
Well, hang on, we're starting to get into the sort of realm of putting them higher, puts the higher ones slightly lower, so it doesn't fucking matter because they should all be on the same level anyway. Halo 2, 15th.
No.
GTA 5, 12th on the list.
12.
Not even top 10.
How the hell is Halo 2 behind Hades?
I don't know, I've never played Hades, so.
Okay. Right, so top 10. Well, and we'll do this one. We'll do this one each. Okay.
Go on.
So top 10. So number 10, Disco Elysium.
Yeah, what the fuck's that?
Don't know.
Number 9, Half-Life 2.
Not a bad game, to be fair, but again, I don't think it deserves to be in the top 10. Number 8, Red Dead Redemption 2. That deserves top 10 status.
Well, I don't like it, so
I will reserve
judgment. Number 7, Super Mario 64. Definitely deserves top 10, to be honest.
Yeah, that deserves to be there. Number 6, again, very, very, it does deserve to be here. Mass Effect 2. Keep your mouth shut.
I've played 1, I think.
Yeah, you played the worst one. Well, actually,
you start at 1. You've got to start at the first one.
Yeah, I don't know, but if you played the original one, then the original one was bad.
Right, fair enough. I don't know. I played the one that they put on Game Pass. Number 5, Super Metroid. Metroid? Yeah. So that's not an original, but an older Nintendo game, is it not?
Yeah, 1994.
Yeah, and it was arcade cabinets, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I think they released it on the consoles as well, but it was arcade cabinets as well.
Number 4, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past.
What was that on originally? I'm sure that was an old console.
I don't know. It doesn't say in the paragraph that it's got underneath it, I don't think.
Released in 1991, so it would have been...
Oh, God. Jesus Christ.
It would have been 64 era?
60, yeah.
64 era sort of thing. I think you can play it on the online Switch.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Number 3, Portal 2.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Portal, to be fair.
Never played it, so.
Number 2, Super Mario World.
That's the original, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So do you know what? Yeah, I agree with that position on the list. However, I'm going to take this number 1 off you because I do not agree with the position.
You were doing number 2. You were doing number 1 anyway.
Was I?
Yeah.
I'm tired. Either way, I don't agree with the position of number 1 of Breath of the Wild.
You and me both.
Now, I like the Zelda stuff, mainly Ocarina of Time. And Nintendo have fucked about with Zelda that much because there's so many different game mechanics. Some of the original ones play like the original Pokemon games on Game Boy Color and stuff like that.
Yep.
I couldn't get on with Breath of the Wild. Probably another one of those games that I wanted to get on with but couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Which annoyed me because I really liked the look of it when it first got sort of advertised and started release.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't. OOT shouldn't be there. Mario World should be first. OOT should be up in the top 10 somewhere, if you ask me. I've not played Link to the Past yet. But yeah, there's some fucking games in that. I mean, what is Disco? What?
Disco Elysium.
Yeah. What the fuck is it?
I have no idea. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't.
A body has been discovered hanged from a looming tree in the backyard of a hostel. It's up to you to work out how it got there. It's a 30-hour story. A unique blend of noir detective fiction, traditional pen and paper RPGs, and a large helping of some theory or other. So it's an RPG.
It's. I mean, if I've never heard of it, then it's not worth playing, in my opinion. But anyway.
All right. What's your head on the way out that door? You cunt. I think we're at an hour and 48 minutes of record, and the first sort of 10 minutes was us making old man noises and fucking the intro up. So I think we'll call it, which will obviously get cut out. I think we'll call it at that. We did have the most expensive games of all time, but I don't think there's a point in that either, to be honest. I'd imagine a lot of people who are listening to this know it. Apart from number 6, which was Monopoly Go, which is weird. Where can they go? Because
honestly,
my thing now is they're starting to looking at remastering lots and lots of games, which means they've run out of ideas. It takes for a big game, it takes 3 to 5 years to develop a big game. Now just think about that a minute. A game console's lifespan is 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
It takes 3 to 5 of those to develop a big game.
Yep.
So how does that work? Because as soon as they upgrade everything for a new console generation, they've got to do something with the software, make it work on that console generation. But they're remastering all these games and they're not coming out with anything new.
Well, the thing is, they are bringing out new games. I mean, like I said, there's new games announced, but it's taken so long to make the games, and depending on the size of the game as well, that's another factor that we've got to bear in mind. You look at how long it's taken GTA 6 to get released, and it's been delayed now until May next year, so it's another 12 months that we've got to wait for that. But but we're talking about GTA 6 is like, it's not endless, but it's a big ass fucking game. But then if you could Doom, the Dark Ages, which is recently been released on Game Pass this year, that's like 30 hours. Again, you could get another Doom out in a year or two. Do you know what I mean? Again, depending on what the team are working on, and how big the team is and stuff like that. Ubisoft, perfect example. At one stage, they were releasing a new Assassin's Creed game every year because their team is that big that
they
even
could work
though
on Assassin's Creed 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what I mean? So they're kind of ahead of the game. So it all comes down to the organization, the company, the size, and their organization skills, to be fair, because if you've got a decent workforce, like I said, like Ubisoft, for example, probably one of the biggest, Activision, because Activision, look at it, they've only just released last year Black Ops 6, and now next year we're getting Black Ops 7. So within 2 years, they've released a brand new game. So that means that while they were making Black Ops 6, Black Ops 7 was already in the fucking works.
Yeah, well, like I said to you like I said last time, fucking GTA 6 has been in the bank for fucking years.
Yeah.
If you ask me, they just kept selling GTA 5 because people kept fucking buying it.
Yeah. Well, Starfield is probably one of the biggest kind of examples, because when that was released, they were all saying that they've been working on this for like 20 plus years for Starfield. Because
how the fuck do you work on a game for 20 years? I'm not being funny, but there's no fucking way they worked on that for 20 years.
I think it starts off as like the concept and then the idea, and then obviously you're limited on technology at the time and stuff like that. So it's all right having the concept and the ideas, and then coming up with like the alien races, the stories, the characters. You can do all that in 20 years. And then obviously, like I said, you're limited on the technology capabilities of whatever console at the time. And obviously,
I'm not having that. You can't. Look, I've played a little bit of it. I'm not playing loads of it, but I've played a little bit of it. And from what I can see, there's no reason they couldn't have released that on the One X, or possibly possibly 360. What's the thing that makes it need to run on a Series X?
Purely because of the graphics of it. Graphically, it's insane. The size of the game is just insane.
Yeah, but that's just because that'll be because of the graphics. You just downgrade.
No. It's like you can pretty much go to any planet in the game. You can land on you can land pretty much anywhere on the planet. Do you know what I mean? So that takes a lot of design work. That takes a lot of everything. Do you know what I mean? It's too much for something like a series, an Xbox One or a 360. Definitely 360. Definitely not. Do you know what I mean? That'd be like putting World of Warcraft on the Switch.
They've done that, haven't they?
No, World of Warcraft on the Switch, you mad? Not a fucking chance in hell, mate. Not a chance in hell.
You say World of Warcraft to me, instantly the only thing I think of is Leroy Jenkins. Yeah. I pissed my pants when I first saw that video.
I think we better leave it there.
I think it's time to go.
I think he's going to fall asleep on this podcast. I generally think he's. I generally think he's going to. I've
still got to go up some fucking staircases yet.
Stairmaster 2.0.
Yeah, well. Yeah. So yeah. Well, I hope it's not been too fucking boring. That's probably one of the longer ones we've done. And let us know what you think about the lists, the top 100, the top 10. As he said before, let us know what your top 10 or top 5 or whatever are, and we can possibly talk about it again in the future. Every year there's gaming news, and every year there's a showcase from each place, isn't there? And possibly in the next sort of 6 months or so, we'll find out how shit the Nintendo Switch 2 actually is. And we can talk about the ROG when that flops as well.
Don't need 6 months for the Switch 2, mate. I can tell you now.
So, yeah, let us know what you think. And thanks for listening. And, yeah, see you soon.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. See you soon.